folks, passengers, people of the world, people of YouTube, people that might be subscribed to me. And if you're not subscribed to me, then subscribe. Welcome back to the Driveway podcast. We had a great string of guests, but today it's just going to be Zach and I. It's going to be the OG podcast duo.
And I love the guest, but man, do I miss talking to you one on one.
I love the guests as well, and don't worry, we still have so many more people that we want to get on, and we have so many more people um that we need to get back on as well.
Hmm
So not just on, but we need to hear back from them, get some updates. So the good news is Zach and I were still just 25 years old. We're both planning on making it to 100, so we've got a lot more episodes to hear your favorite guests.
Well, actually, I'm planning on going to 101 because we can live through like 3 centuries.
No, yeah, that's fair. I'd like to do 101 as well. Yeah, it'd be kind of cock tease if we made it to 100 and then
Yeah, I
just
know.
halfway through 2099 we just died. Like
Well,
that
do you
would
think
be a
it's worse?
bummer.
Do you think it's worse if we die at 99? Because then like we don't even get to hit 100. But
I think that would be, yeah, that would be the worst scenario. Worst case scenario is we die at 99 in,
uh,
2098
hmm
because it's like couldn't even make it to 100 and then couldn't even
right.
make it to the 3 centuries. Second worst case is that we make it to 2099. At least we hit the 100 mark, but don't make the 3 centuries.
It's very true.
Worst, I guess maybe technically the worst case scenario would be tomorrow, but
Okay, well,
knock on wood that you know, we'll be we won't.
right. Knock on wood. Everybody knock on wood for us. Knock on wood for
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, knock on wood for yourself. Yep.
But no, John, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you
Um,
as well.
anything fun happened to you in the past like month-ish?
Just real quick, I'm sorry. I was looking at the bottom of your podcast mic. Is that a special connector or is that the
This?
original cord?
The cord?
Yeah.
No,
Is
it's a
that a
new cord.
USB-C?
Yeah.
But it's USB-C? Okay. It just looked funny. That's all.
Hmm. Yeah, no, the dog ate my last cord, so I had to get a new one.
Classic.
She's really kind of,
Classic.
she's gotten a
Yeah,
lot
how's
better.
Panay coming along?
She's peeing and pooping in the house rarely ever.
Okay, but she still does it.
Um, yeah, like one time a week.
Oh, okay.
Like
For all the dog people in the comments, let us know if one time a week is considered rarely ever for a dog to pee or poop in the house. I
that
personally
is
don't know, but that does not sound like rarely ever to me. Maybe in the context of Panay, yes, but in the
mhm.
context of dogs on the whole, I don't know if I'm taking that answer, Alex Trebek.
Well, anyway, who cares? I think it's
It's
Johnny. From you don't
it's
understand.
good.
We went from like 40 peas and poos a week to one. That is in itself an outstanding feat we've accomplished here.
That's true. But if I'm going to talk from a quality perspective, yeah, you could have like 1% part defective rate, but what if you're making a million parts? That's still 100,000 parts that are, or excuse me, 10,000 parts that are defective. It's
I
not
like to
great.
think of it. I don't even think of it like the COVID vaccine. I think that's how you look at it. Sure, the COVID vaccine doesn't kill or doesn't like stop COVID, but it or completely stop COVID, but it helps the survival rate.
I think my analogy was better.
I like my analogy more, but whatever. We can agree to
All
disagree on
right.
that.
Yeah, we can have oh man, this poll, I'm gonna get banged for the third time in a row, but I will put out a poll. Leave a like. Whose analogy was better?
No, but with the dude yesterday. So if you know Panay, she's a jumper. She loves jumping.
Yes.
She jumped so high yesterday. I was like, I
Like indoors, outdoors, where
indoors,
did this
indoors,
happen?
indoors. She was trying to
Wow.
get upstairs because Allie was here.
Okay.
She was trying to like jump on the door to like knock it over and then get upstairs.
Oh, classic.
Um, she didn't do that, but she jumped vertically. Like her, like she could have dunked a basketball. I'm not even exaggerating. It was so high. I couldn't believe she didn't break her ankle when she came back down.
Yeah, like she hit her head on top in the on the ceiling or anything like that.
It was not that close, but it was like almost that. Like maybe a foot under that. I was like, this is not a dog. This is a kangaroo or of some sort.
So you're saying you're raising Airbud right now.
I
Panay is the
she
next generation Airbud.
From what I saw, it wouldn't shock me if she became Airbud.
You know what? Honestly, if you had to go through all of that with Panay for her to
Hmm.
become an Airbud, you take that deal?
I take that deal. Damn good deal.
Damn good deal.
Ah, and then our neighbors, I don't know if I told you this, Johnny, but our neighbors have a mini golden doodle
On the left,
on
like if you're looking out of the front windows.
if you look out the front windows on the left, yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Um, and
Yes,
she,
yeah, we knew about this. We knew
we
about
did
this. This
okay,
is
and she looks
podcast lore.
this
And this
podcast
is
star.
coming up on the AP Driveway Podcast exam at the end of the year. So that was great little review material. If you did not remember
Oh my
that, then
gosh,
you better start studying,
dude,
buddy.
I kind of want to make like a 100-point quiz on questions about the Driveway podcast. See who really is who are the real fans of the
Who our
pod.
number one listeners are.
But anyway, like
Anyways, Golden Doodle.
the golden doodle is like the exact same color as Panay. And
Really?
so like exact same, like a little bit of black, a little bit of gray, and like
Weird.
kind
So
of
that's
same
like a
height.
pretty poor Golden Doodle. Like you don't our Golden Doodles are supposed to be golden
Yeah, no, it,
or
it
like
they screwed
auburn.
up for sure. I don't know what
So
happened
did
with
they
that
just
dog,
get
but
banged with the dog breed? Like they just got told the wrong dog breed, do you think?
I didn't ask specifics. Like the first time she saw Panay, she was like, "Do you have my dog?" And I was like, "No, this is my dog." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I thought that was my dog. It looks identical." And then like a day later, I took Panay outside, and she was outside with her dog. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, these are the exact same dogs."
Weird. I'm trying like I'm looking up Golden Doodle colors, but I guess you can have have multiple colors.
But then I mean, it's not golden though, you
But
know.
then that's what I'm thinking. Like, doesn't that mean that there's like some other type of seed or what breed involved, or am I crazy? Because it's
I
like the cross is golden retriever and labradoodle, right? Or excuse me,
hmm
golden retrieval and poodle,
Yeah.
right? Oh, so I
Hmm.
guess I guess I don't know about poodles. I guess I always just pictured like poodles
The
being
white
white, but
crusty one.
maybe
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe they can have some type of, you know, other colors as well. I'm sure.
Hmm.
So maybe that's the answer. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to take you down that training, but I
No, it's okay.
was just
I w
shocked.
I'm glad we got to see it. Glad we
Hmm.
got to see your thought process there. So anyway, I just thought it was my
You're
light
still
turned
alive.
off.
You just hit the colors. Yeah.
My light turned off. What happened to my light? Anyway,
The front button. The
I
other
pressed the
one.
front button. It see. Anyway, well,
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Killed it.
maybe it just died on me. I don't know.
You killed it, Zach.
Um, but her and Panay are becoming good friends, and I really appreciate that because Panay needs a mentor on how to become a good dog.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
Harper and Luna are not the best examples
they
for.
no, not even in the slightest. In fact, they are terrible examples.
They might be one of the worst examples actually. Well, actually, Harper's really nice now.
Harper's getting good.
Hmm.
She's kind of a sweetheart now. She does kind of like to just get her belly scratched,
Hmm.
and then she's all
Harper's a
content.
puppy though. Oh my gosh, Harper was a pup.
Oh,
Was almost as bad as Panay. Probably
one
will
of
be
the
as evil.
greatest Harper memories that I've got is we were at the old house, and it was me, Zach, and Sabrina, and Mrs. Jennings comes home from puppy daycare, and she's like, "Yeah, Harper got a bad grade at puppy daycare today," and we're like, "Oh, why?" And then Harper just starts running her head off for like 10 minutes, and then stops in the middle of the living room and throws up, just right there in the middle.
I don't
It
remember
was
this.
it was
Oh
pretty
my gosh,
funny.
that's so funny.
It's like, what
Oh.
the hell just happened?
Oh my gosh, I don't have any recollection of this whatsoever, but that does not surprise me whatsoever. That does sound like something Harper would have done as a puppy. Well, anyway, it's been a crazy
Yeah.
month. A lot happened. We had March Madness.
Yeah.
John, do you have any thoughts on like the whole March Madness thing?
Um, No, I mean it was fun. Like it's always fun when your team goes on a little bit of a run. Obviously, I wanted them to go deeper. You always want them to go deeper. Um, but I mean, expectations were relatively low. Like they were low, and then once you win the Big Ten tournament, then you're like, oh, anything's possible. So then your expectations kind of get out of hand, and so that's why I was thinking like Elite Eight, Final Four type stuff. I never thought they would win the championship, much
Hmm
less make it to the championship. But you know, I thought it was possible. I didn't really think that they were going to be able to go on a streak. And then I watched the Big Ten championship, and they won like 4 games in a row, and I was like, oh, well, if they can do it there, they can probably do it again. Um, but other than that, I mean, I was rooting for Auburn because I had them. I was rooting for Duke to lose, so that was fun seeing them lose to Houston. Um, but I mean, my only other thought is like UC San Diego played Michigan, and you know, I love UC San Diego. So, but I did not want them to beat Michigan.
hmm There was a lot of talk of like that is the game where it could go 50-50.
I know, which seemed, I mean, obviously biased because I'm a Michigan fan, but it seemed like, yeah, everyone was calling out that game as like the one game that was,
Hmm
and I guess in the end, technically it was like a super close game, but I think the first half Michigan smoked them like 40 to
Dude,
30 or something like
UC San Diego was like 1 for 14 with 3 pointers in like the first 10 minutes. Like they only shot
that.
3 pointers and made one after 14 attempts. Like I thought the game was going to get like I thought it was going to be like 100-14.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was close made
Yes.
me excited. So I was like, oh, maybe there's a chance Michigan blows
Yeah.
it. And then that didn't happen. Honestly, though, I everybody in the world wanted a Michigan State Elite Eight game.
Yeah. That would have been
Everybody
fun.
wanted that. I had that in so many of my brackets, and we were definitely robbed of that.
Yeah, that would have been
Um,
really cool. I guess my other takeaway would be because I ended up watching a lot of Auburn basketball, which is funny, just the route that they took and the fact that I, had them. Um, Once I watched them play Michigan, I was like, oh no, I can't believe I chose this team to win the championship. Because Michigan played so bad that game, but
hmm
Auburn played like just as bad. It was
hmm
just in the last 2 minutes they didn't play so bad. And I was like, shit. But after that game, I was like, there's no way Auburn's winning the championship. And
hmm
yet somehow they made it to the or no,
No.
they made it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Somehow they made it past, Michigan State, and then they were hanging around for a long time with Florida. But holy cow, Janai Broom. I also thought his name was Johnny. I thought that was a really would have been a really interesting take on the way to spell Johnny. Basically, it is Johnny. Like it's
hmm
John with an I. They just decided to pronounce it Janai. So I guess you could also say my name's Janai as well.
Do you like the
But
name Janai?
I kind of liked it. Yeah. Once I heard it pronounced, I was like, well, it took a little bit. It took like three
Mhm.
times for them to say Janai, and then I had to say it out loud a couple times, and it was like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of when people call me Zach. Like I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like being called Zach.
You like Zach?
Hmm
Because outside looking in, Zach is terrible. Makes me
You don't
think of
like
like
it?
snatch,
Which
which
well,
is like a colloquialism for vagina.
so you're saying my name is Vagina?
Yeah. No, I'm saying your fake nickname is vagina.
It's close to vagina.
Random memory. I was
hmm
in San Diego as a young kid, probably 12, maybe, yeah, 11 or 12. Probably not older than 13, 11, 12, or 13. And this was like my first trip to San Diego since even younger, when I was like 2 or 3. Had a really good time. Hung out with my dad's friends, family the entire time. So my dad's friend lives in San Diego. We hung out with his family the entire time, and he had 2 kids, one that was exactly my age, and then one that was like 2 years younger. I want to say, again, maybe it was 3. I guess it doesn't matter. Anyways, so that would have put this kid at like 10 or 11 years old, I suppose, is the point. It would have put this kid
hmm
at 10 or 11 years old. And We were in the car one time and I don't know what we were talking about, but for some reason, like me and this kid were having interesting enough, it was because this kid was on his winter break, whereas the other kid, the kid that was my age, he wasn't on his winter break. He was still in school. So me and
Hmm.
the younger sibling, we got along really well because of that. Anyways, we're driving in the car and it's like me, my dad, and then my dad's friend's entire family. So, AKA my dad's friend, his wife, and then their two kids. And we're talking about something. And maybe just body parts came up. Maybe we were specifically talking about men's and ladies' body parts. I don't know. But this kid all of a sudden goes, and mom, you've got a vagina. I think that's what it was. I might be putting this kid on
Oh
blast,
man,
but he just like dropped a hard vagina,
the hard V.
the hard V, and his mom and dad both turned around. We're like, "What did you just say?" And they had a swear jar. So did your family ever have a swear jar growing up?
No, we weren't allowed to swear.
I would agree. Like it was just
Mm-mm.
implicit that we couldn't swear, but this family had a swear jar. So like apparently they were maybe not okay with swearing, but you had to cough up money if you swore, which I
I
just think was weird. Just enact the rule
but
of no swearing. Why have a swear jar?
right. Also, I have a question. The guy's like 7 years old, 11 years
No,
old. Where are they getting
yeah.
money?
Well, where did they get money? I mean, maybe they had an allowance. Maybe I don't know. Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, I kind of know for bar mitzvahs. Did I say that right? It's bar mitzvah
Hmm.
for men. For bar mitzvahs, you get a lot of money. Obviously, I know you've told us like, it's usually you don't hang on to it. The parents keep it. They pay,
Hmm.
pay the venue back, whatever. But for first communion, for example, for us Catholics, us Catholics, um, sometimes we'll get presents and money for that as well.
Mm.
So not much on the order of $20, but I remember I got $100 total from my first communion. That
Mm.
lasted me until like 14 years old.
You
Don't
kept on
ask
that.
me
You kept that
how,
sucker.
but
And
I made that shit last.
what'd you spend it on?
I think mainly candy. It's
Oh,
probably a
nice.
lot of candy
That
stuff. But anyways, I guess
that checks out.
the point that I'm getting to is that maybe he had some type of birthday money or first communion money that he was hanging on to. He had a hole burning in his pocket, and he's like, Mom, forgive me real quick, but let me just hit you with vagina." This has to be a podcast driveway podcast record for most amount of time said vagina in a single episode. Maybe this might be our only episode that
I
we've
think it's the
said
only one.
vagina
I
in.
don't think I've ever said it publicly, so this is great.
You've never said it publicly. Zach
Well, like
stares off
on
camera,
the
takes a quick look off camera to make sure no one's listening to him.
um no, I mean we still have so much more to go. It might come up again. Who knows?
It might, yeah.
Um,
So yeah, that's a couple tangents, a couple Johnny tangents there. What were we talking about?
I
March
don't
Madness.
March Man.
Your thoughts about March Madness?
That's
Janai
such a funny
Broom.
transition. Right. That's what happened.
Oh, the last thing I wanted to
Yeah,
say
go
is
for it, go
some
for it.
people in our group chat will sometimes spell my name Joni.
Hmm.
Do you think that also could be pronounced Janai, or is that
Yeah.
definitely a Joni? Because the way that
No.
I pronounce that in my head is Joni, Joni. I pronounce it Joni whenever I see it.
So I think of Joni too, but Janai, I've never thought the name Janai before, but I definitely can see it now. You know?
And it's there's one other basketball name. I swear I've talked about it, not maybe on this podcast, but somewhere else. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forget what name it is, but basically they spell it exactly how it sounds.
Hmm.
And it at first pissed me off, but then the more I said it, the more I saw it, I'm like, well, damn it, it just makes sense. Like, yes, that is how you pronounce that. And so when I look at Janai and the way that
Hmm.
they spelled it, I also 1,000% agree that's how you would pronounce that. How well I kind of I guess I want to backtrack my earlier statement saying that like Johnnny could be pronounced Janai. I don't
Hmm.
think so at all. I think there's maybe two ways to spell Janai. One of them is the way Janai Broom's name is spelled. The other might be, I would think, Jonay, Jonai. But that might even be Jonay. You know
But
what I
Jonay is still
mean?
a cool name.
Yeah, okay, but that's not the point. I'm trying saying like I think they absolutely freaking nailed it. If they wanted to call their kid Jonai, that they spelled it 1,000% right. What do you think came first? Do you think like let's name this kid Janai, or do you think they spelled it Johni and they were like, what's it like? I don't just want this to be Johnny
Uh-huh.
because it also could be Johnny. I could see
Hmm.
that being pronounced Johnny. But then if you wanted a cool spelling of Johnny, then shout out Dune, the girl from Dune. The way that half the people pronounce her name, I always think they're saying Johnny, but I think it's maybe like Chani or Shawnee or something
Mm.
weird. Anyways, point being, they killed it.
But I don't know, because I feel like they had the name Janai and they figured out how to spell it after.
Yeah, I think so too. That's probably true.
Um, that's a great point.
Thank you.
But my
Gosh, I
thought
want to figure out this basketball name so bad, but I just
here, I'll go on my March Madness
basketball.
rant.
Yeah.
Um, again, like everybody else, I think it was pretty boring this year. I was shocked Duke lost because I was watching Duke play basketball and they looked incredible.
Right. Yeah,
They could have
that's
beaten the
I didn't
Pistons
watch a
last year.
single Duke game. I didn't watch a single Duke game. So I can't speak to that at all.
I was saying like they probably could have beaten the Pistons last year with Monty Williams coaching them. Like they were just all around a great team. I was shocked they lost. The only thing that was interesting to me though about March Madness was the championship game. I just could not believe the way that it ended. That is like the goofiest ending I've ever seen to any sporting event ever. And I don't know what your thoughts. Were you happy Florida won, or were you kind of rooting for Houston?
I mean, technically, if we're having this stupid draft order decision thing, then yeah, I was rooting for Houston because that meant that I would be a little bit better of a pick. Actually, no, technically, I was rooting for Florida because Houston's loss actually improved my pick. But I guess I was maybe doing a salty route for Houston
Mm,
just to have Florida lose because they beat my team, which was um, whatever you call it, Auburn.
sure, sure. So I was originally like so I'm when it comes to March Madness, I'm a very big statistics guy. Like Gonzaga, I will never pick Gonzaga to win, even if they go like 38 and no. I'll never pick them to win March Madness.
Hmm.
And like I have the same thing with Houston. Where like those two teams in my mind, they're never gonna win March Madness in my lifetime. So I was really in the and I wanted to be right about that. So beginning of the game, I wanted Florida to win. And then after Houston started going on the run, I was like, it would be kind of cool to see a new team win because they haven't won since the 70s, I don't think, if at all.
Houston.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna go Team Houston. And then Florida ended up winning, and I was like, man, I cannot pick a team that I want to win the championship correct ever. It never works in my favor.
Did
It
you
was
look back and see if you'd ever picked one? Have you ever picked the champion?
no, I'm saying like when it comes to the championship game in any sporting event, I'll always pick like a team and be like, oh, I'm kind of happy they won, and I usually always get it wrong.
Mm.
Like,
Well, I guess have you, in a different sense of the question, have you ever picked the March Madness winner? Like, have you ever picked it correctly?
yes, um,
But
I'd have
aren't
to
you?
remember.
You're the type to make like 10 brackets, though, aren't you?
I do make 10 brackets, but like half of them are joke brackets. Like I have like a coin
I
flip
don't know if that's
bracket.
going to hold up in court.
I have a coin flip bracket. Laney gave me a really good idea for next year. It was to just try and get every single every single game wrong.
Oh,
Just try and go 0 for however many games there are, 128 or
yeah.
whatever.
I guess that's fun.
Isn't that fun? Well, I my new one this year was to pick which football team would win over the other football teams.
I think technically that would be just as hard as picking
Hmm.
every single winner.
It probably will be a little bit easier because if you pick a 16 seed to win everything, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but you're not picking. Okay, you're picking all 32 games in the first round to
Hmm.
be wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then you just get like a 0%.
Okay. I
So
thought
I'm
you
gonna,
meant across the entire bracket. Like you were gonna correctly
well, if
incorrect pick every pick.
I mean, wouldn't that equivalent to that if you got everything wrong?
I guess so. But I guess you could maybe extend it a little bit. Like you could,
Well, the
like you
the
said, you
the
could pick all 16 seeds to make the final four.
hmm
Was that implicit in your plan?
that was kind of, but
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm in case it wasn't clear, that was my original plan was to get everything wrong across the board. Um, but yeah, no, I am kind of sick and tired of making all these brackets because every time I make one, Ned said it best. Ned said I am gonna win March Madness. Like, there's no way my bracket's gonna be wrong, and then every single time I'm shocked at how bad my bracket is. Like when I first made my bracket, I was like, there's no way these games don't end up the way they're supposed to, the way I picked them. And then they always are like below 50% correct.
Yeah, we should give a shout out to Ned. He was what, top 20 after day one
Hmm.
on CBS, which is
So was
crazy.
Jacob. Jacob had like 19 in a row.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Hmm.
It's absolutely insane.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over with March Madness. You have any final thoughts? Any closing thoughts on it?
Yeah, the basketball player was Drew Holiday.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Drew.
Jrue,
Yeah, yeah,
Drew.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is. It still like enrages me upon first sight, but yeah, that is how you would that's how you would spell that or pronounce that.
Did you know? I'm sure you know this, but you know Dwayne Wade's name is spelled wrong or not? It's spelled like not how you think it's spelled.
No. On his
You didn't
birth
know that?
certificate or something?
Yeah. Well. Before you look it up, spell Dwayne in your head.
D Dwayne. Dwayne or something?
Wrong. That is how you would think to spell it, but it's
Yeah,
D
that's
W.
exactly what you just told me to do.
I
Now you're
know.
just
I
making
know.
me feel bad.
No, I know. I'm just saying
You're like,
like, all right, the wrong I was imitating from the other. Whatever. It's spelled Dwyane.
that's how Dwayne Wade spells it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of makes sense because I feel like people always usually put a lot of emphasis on like Dwayne, you know?
But I
Do
think
you
it
know what I
is
mean?
normally spelled Dwayne. I think he
But
just
okay,
has it
so
wrong.
for example, my example
Mm-hmm.
in The Office, do you know the character Dwight Schrute?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Jim usually always puts a very heavy emphasis on Dwight. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Dwight
Yeah.
versus Dwight.
Well, do you think that was a
Whereas Dwayne Wade, people put a lot of emphasis on Dwayne Wade, you know? So maybe
hmm
there's something to that. Like it's
well,
kind of like the Dwight versus Dwight.
what about Dwayne Johnson? Like, do people say Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
No, because his name's not spelled like that. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. I don't know if I agree. Because I definitely feel like I've heard people say Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Dwayne Wade.
Well, a lot more people just call him The Rock.
Okay, well, yeah.
So that's
And
probably why you don't hear it as much.
maybe that could also very be true.
Did
Um,
you know that Franz Wagner, former Michigan player, is a
mhm.
top 50 NBA player this year? They've got him at number 34.
I saw like a redraft from the year he got drafted, and he was really high up, and I was like, what? I haven't heard
He's
much
been
about that guy recently. So
he's
that
apparently been
did
playing very well.
good for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad Hunter Dickinson kind of went out with an L.
Yeah, he was an interesting fella. Oh my gosh, they've got Jordan Poole in the top 100 too. Get the
What?
heck out of here. Yeah, he's
What
number
the heck?
100, but still.
What is his website?
This is The Ringer.
Oh, The Ringer. Okay. All right. Um. All right. Well, moving past basketball. Um. Right now, it is the season of Passover and almost Easter and Lent. Johnny, I know you had given up sweeties for Lent, the sweets, the goods.
Yes. Yes,
Um,
sir. That's correct.
do you do you try and pick something new for Lent every year, or is it just kind of whatever is a big part of your life that at that in that moment you try and get rid of?
Yeah, it's usually a big part of the life in the moment. But a lot of the time that's sweets, you know? I mean,
Uh-huh.
the typical cycle goes like, all right, I'm eating way too much dessert. I gotta cut back. Like this is insane. I don't know about you, but I actually will crave it in a bad way. So if I,
Oh, me too.
if I don't have dessert on the premise, like I have to go get something. Um, so anyways, it usually gets to that point. I give it up for Lent. I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Then after 40 days, I still don't really I don't like jump back in, you know, I don't cannonball back into the desserts. It's usually slow introduction back in. Um, and then by probably mid-June, so what, 6 weeks later, if
Hmm.
that, I'll be eating dessert all the time again. And then
Yeah.
and then it doesn't take and then it takes until Lent of next year for me to realize, oh, I do eat a lot of sweet.
No, I am so with you. I eat dessert all the time, but that's the thing. Like, I will never go out of my way. Like, if it's not in the house, I'm not gonna get dessert by myself. So I do have like some self-control in that area, but the problem is there's never not dessert in the house
Yeah.
because it's so good.
It's just yeah, it's just good. I mean, it's a great way to cap off a meal.
Hmm.
I you know, I wouldn't really consider myself a big foodie. So when I eat food in general, I would say don't get that big of a, enjoyment out of it. I mean, some foods for sure. Five Guys hamburger, Griffin Claw, not Popeye's chicken sandwich, um, stuff like that. Like there
Hmm.
are meals that I definitely get a good feeling out of, but I think for the most part, I just kind of eat food without much emotional attachment to it. And then it's up to the dessert to
Mm.
really bring in the fireworks, to really bring in the bang. So I guess that's my opinion on dessert. Whereas I can see if you're satisfied by your meal, not needing a dessert, but I guess maybe what I'm saying is I'm not usually satisfied by my meal.
Hmm.
I
I
want
feel
I
that.
want some more dopamine. I want a bigger dopamine kick to go along with it.
For me, it is part of like the meal wasn't it was like an 80%, it did an 80% job and the dessert's gotta be 20%, but it's more of like I'm still hungry after dinner. And dessert is like, oh, might as well end my or try and fill my hunger with food that I really want to eat.
I kind of want to throw this back on you because we were just talking off the camera about an individual who would not be named and like what does that guy eat? I want to say the same for Zach. Like what do you eat? I feel like when we lived together, I would see you eat cereal and snacks and stuff. But when it came to dinner, what did you eat for dinner, bro?
I had stuff. Um, Again, I'm not really a chef, so the food I do make isn't super great tasting wise. Um, and I like another issue is I get hungry and I don't want to wait to eat food, so I want to make things like as fast as possible.
Hmm.
So
That's kind of funny. I
like
don't know
what?
why, but that's funny.
So like some days I'll just eat like soup for dinner
You're
because
like
it's
a
like
puppy dog. You're just like, give it to me. No.
oh yeah, like soup because it's only like 3 minutes in the microwave, or like
Sure.
pasta, and then I don't cook it all the way because I'm just so hungry I'm ready to eat it. Dude, literally like last two Mondays ago, I was making pasta and I was like, how is this not done yet? I'm just gonna eat it. And it was like not it was not cooked
So
well
do
enough.
you not know how to make pasta?
No, I do,
It's
but
pretty easy.
no, I am aware. And I've made
Can
I can
you
make
can you tell the podcast right now how to make pasta?
boil
Let's
some
say
water,
some rigatoni.
boil some water,
Yeah.
throw a little salt in there for some taste.
Okay.
Dump the box in there,
Okay.
stir it around a little bit. Um,
For how long?
7 to 8 minutes, I would say, is what I usually do.
There you go. Some pastas, yeah, that's appropriate.
Yeah, some
Other
pastas are.
pastas, it's more like 10
I
to
don't know
12.
rigatoni off the top of my head, but I'm aware. Like
What type of
the
pasta do you get usually?
penne,
Okay, yeah,
in honor
penne.
of the dog.
Penne's
What's your
probably
favorite kind of pasta?
probably 70. Definitely big rigatoni, big elbow macaroni,
I
straight
like all those.
noodle pasta, spaghetti is great. Spaghetti pasta.
Spaghetti-
Those are probably my top three.
Low key spaghetti's not my favorite version of pasta. It's great,
Really?
but no, I like
I
having
think,
bites. Like I'm nom, like
yeah.
shoving it in my mouth. Spaghetti, you gotta like twist it, do all the like. I want it inside of me.
Hey, yo,
I want it in
boss.
me as fast as possible.
Excuse me? Come again?
What? Ayo?
Um, I think I don't like making spaghetti for myself, but I love ordering it. When I
Really?
go to a restaurant, I won't order a dish with rigatoni. I'll get the spaghetti. But when I'm at home, I won't make spaghetti. I'll make the rigatoni.
Why is that?
Just think it's easier to make.
Okay. Sure.
I don't have a big enough pot to handle
Hmm.
the spaghetti noodles,
Oh,
and I
Johnny, when you
don't want to break them in half.
speaking of spaghetti, when you left the birdhouse, you took the spaghetti strainer with you, and I didn't realize how big of like an effect that would have on Ned and I until we realized it was gone.
Wasn't it months? I mean, it was months
Months,
before
yeah.
you got a new one.
No, you left in August. We didn't get one till December.
How long did it take for you guys to realize, like, oh, that was Johnny's? Or
I
did
think
you
it.
realize that right away?
Well, no, I don't think we realized it
Or
was
were you
yours.
just
We
like,
were like,
where did it go?
that's exactly what we said. We're like, where is the spaghetti strainer? And then I think I had to like text you and go, Johnny, was that spaghetti strainer yours?
Yeah, I
And
remember getting that
yeah.
text.
I was like, oh, that's what happened to it. I wonder if I could find that. I could probably find that text. Hang
That was pretty
on.
funny.
Um,
So, anyways, no, I can't. So, even when you're going out to dinner, like you go to a nice restaurant and they
mhm.
give you some food, you're still hungry after that. Like, if I
Yeah,
don't know. Okay, interesting. So, it doesn't have
which
to
is
necessarily do with cooking at home. It just meals in general don't fill you up.
right. And that's something I've had an issue with over the past couple of years. I've been trying to get better at it. I think I've been trying to do recently is like slow down when I'm eating. Because like I said, with any kind of food, I just want to, I'm so excited to eat it.
Yeah, you just want to get all
I
that
just want to get it in
shoved
as soon as
right in
possible.
you real
So if
quick.
I eat slower, I tend to get fuller faster.
Okay. Maybe you
And
need to have meals with more like fats in them. You know what I mean? Are your meals too carbohydrate based?
um, no, like I'm thinking of like I eat salmon a lot these days,
Okay.
and I eat a lot of
That's
salmon in one
pretty
sitting.
light. Salmon's pretty light.
You think?
Yeah, I think fish in general like has a pretty light feeling about it when you
Mm.
eat it. Don't you? Wouldn't you agree? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I had salmon on my trip to Florida
Hmm.
and I low key got food poisoning. I
Really?
thought I wasn't gonna make it. I'd never had, stomach pain like this before. It was
Uh-huh.
crazy.
Did you yak?
And no,
You
which
didn't
I was
yak?
shocked. And it
What?
reminded me of senior year band trip when we went to Italy and
Oh yeah.
everyone got food poisoning. Me, Brian, and Griffin were in the same apartment, and Griffin was moaning all night long. And I
Hmm.
thought 1,000% he was gonna yak. He didn't. He made it through the night.
Wow.
And so I was like, how did he do that? But now I guess if you just don't have to yak, you don't have to yak. I mean, I
Hmm.
sat on the toilet. I was just like, please get out of me, butthole or
Hmm.
mouth, whichever way, just my body.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that one's gonna get clipped. That is crazy.
Oh man.
please don't clip
Please don't
that,
clip
chat.
that.
Please don't clip that.
Oh, oh man.
But
This
it
is
did not.
a crazy episode we got today.
This is a crazy episode, but it did not come. So stop clipping this chat. Chat, please stop.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
So, anyways, I made it through the night, but
Hmm.
still, it was just a bizarre stomach pain. It was a burning sensation. It wasn't so much, usually when I get a stomach ache or before diarrhea, I usually kind of feel like it's like someone's grabbing my stomach and like
Hmm.
clenching it. Whereas this time it felt like I was on a stick and I was being slow roasted. You know, in Star Wars when
Oh,
they've got
yeah.
them tied
Hmm.
up to the stick and they're slow. That's what it felt like. It was just
Wow.
bizarre. So, anyways, that was after having salmon. And I never get fish as a full meal from a restaurant, but I've done it twice. Once in
Hmm.
Colorado. Do you remember that when we went to that barbecue place?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I asked for ribs, and he said, I asked for a full set of ribs. He said, we're
Yep.
out of ribs. And I said, can I just get And he's like, dude, we're out of ribs.
Oh,
Um,
that's a
so I
great
got it.
question. Do you guys have half?
I got a salmon. You guys have a
Oh.
half rack? Um, and then this time in Florida, and
Hmm.
it was, I think it was described the same way. It was like a bourbon glaze.
Hmm.
So that's why I got it, and I actually enjoyed the meal very much. But then later that night, not so much. So maybe it was just I don't have fish enough, and it just got me. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Do you
but
think
anyways, good for you for having a lot of salmon.
this
It's
gonna
healthy.
prohibit you from getting salmon in the future? Do you think?
It is, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. Um, I've gotten some of those chicken of the sea canned salmon or like salmon in the packets. I've gotten
Hmm.
that. And I haven't had to, I haven't had a stomach ache after that, but no,
It's always the food you least expect it, or
I
you most
know.
expect it, but the time you least expect it.
Yeah. So have you been doing like frozen salmon or something along those
Yeah,
lines?
Costco has a really nice, like microwavable salmon.
Oh my God, I thought of something else that I want to
Not
talk. I want to talk
microwavable.
about
Sorry,
me
oven. Oven. What'd you say?
again. I want to talk about me again,
Yeah,
but
go
I
for it. Go
want
for
you
it.
to finish up
No, no, no. I said
whatever you were going to
Costco
say.
has a lot of good like pre-made salmon that you can just like put in the oven and
Hmm.
put some like they have like some green. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like some green goo you throw on it and makes it taste really good.
Oh, green goo.
It,
Weird. A green goo for salmon?
I don't. I'll figure out what it is and I'll let you know.
Okay. So did you want to say anything more on Lent or in Passover? I mean, you're just starting on Passover. It's fun when it happens like this. I don't think it
Hmm.
happens every
It
year,
doesn't.
but
No.
it's fun when Passover starts on, like the Palm Sunday, the week before Easter,
Yeah. Uh-huh. We
and
all
then
like
boom,
celebrate
Easter's the
together.
next. Yeah, it's like the
Hmm.
same. Yeah, it's like I mean, it's like what was happening,
Hmm.
2025 years ago. This happened.
This happened.
So,
There is one. I just real quick before you go to your story.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I've thought about this today, and I think we, the Jewish holidays, are just copy Christian holidays.
Wait, no, you got it backwards. All the Christian holidays copy the Jewish
No,
holidays
no, no, no,
because
no, no. In terms of like things you do, because like Hanukkah was not a
okay.
gift giving holiday, and
Oh
then
yeah.
we got jealous, and then we started giving gifts on Hanukkah,
I mean, come on.
and
I'm not
then.
going to blame you for that one.
Mhm.
Just a little bit of
But I
the
was thinking about this today.
commercialization of
Passover,
Christmas.
like Passover with Easter, you guys have the Easter egg hunt. And for Passover,
Yes.
we have this thing called afikomen, where you hide a piece of matzah in the house, and all the kids try and find the piece of matzah, and if whoever finds it gets like money. So it's basically like an
That
Easter egg hunt.
sounds so Jewish. That could be a Family Guy sketch right there.
I mean,
That's
that's what
actually
we do.
hilarious. But
What we
that's, I mean, I will say again, though, I think the Easter egg hunt's a bit of just the commercialization of Easter.
do. Hmm.
So who knows? Who knows which came first, the rabbit or the egg?
Right. Oh, wow.
Like what I did there?
That was very nice. Very nice. All right, so go ahead with your story.
Yes. So last Tuesday, I had a sister move, and
Right. Yes.
it
Yeah.
was bizarre. Okay, so I've had this cyst on my neck for probably about 2 years now. I don't really remember when it came, but I remember a conversation about it, and it had already been on my neck for a little bit, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. And that conversation was, do you have photo evidence the night that we went out with Maggie and saw Alex and his fiance at Renshaw
Do
Pub?
I have the picture of it?
Renshaw Lounge, yeah.
Yes, I
Or do
do.
you know that date? Is that like in my head I call that August. Am I accurate in that?
Keep going. Well, give me a sec to find it. I don't
Okay.
think it was August,
So,
so.
anyways, it was late summer slash fall, September 20, or excuse me, 2023, not necessarily September. Maybe we can just, for the sake of the story, call this September 23. And this woman, Maggie, I expressed
By the
at
way,
that.
sorry, it was October 6th, 2023.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so October 2023. So maybe I'd had it since August or July of 2023. And I expressed at that time, I said, I've got this thing on my neck. Maybe I mean, I forget the conversation, but I just remember pointing it out and Maggie going, "Oh, that's just an ingrown hair. That'll, resolve within time." And I kind of agreed. Like I thought it was going to be something that would resolve with time. It did not. So it took me all the way until August 2024 to see a doctor about it. I had an opportunity February 2024 to ask my doctor about it, but I did not. So then August 2024 rolls around. I asked my doctor about it. They say it's a lipoma, but they offer to let me see a dermatologist if I wanted to investigate it further. And I did want to investigate it further because at this point it had been a year that had been hanging around on my neck. And I think if it was something as simple as a pimple or an ingrown hair, it would have gone away. Oh my God. Another layer to the story
Hmm.
is around that same time, around a couple months in, I remember in my bathroom, like giving it a squeeze and a bunch of stuff flying out.
Oh,
It
gross.
was one of those, it was a Dr. Pimple Popper-esque type
Mhm.
moment where I was like, oh, that was gross. So, anyways, I tried to avoid squeezing it from there on out. I would give it gentle squeezers to be like, well, is this like hard or soft? What's the deal with it? So, anyways, I get the diagnosis of a lipoma. I try to schedule a dermatologist appointment. I can't get in until March of 2025.
Jeez.
So March 2025 rolls around. I've had this on my neck for probably 18 months at this point, maybe more. and the and my goal is to get it off. I really want it off my neck. I just want it, gone. I don't like it mainly for cosmetic purposes. It hasn't really been hurting me. It hasn't been, the one time that I squoze it, stuff came out of it. Other than that, there's been no discharge. So it's not that big of a deal. But cosmetically, I'm like, can we get rid of this thing?
Hmm.
So the dermatologist, I tell the nurse at the dermatologist's office, she says, what are you in for today? And I said, I got this thing on my neck. This is when you make a joke. You say, Johnny, that's your head. That's not a cyst, yada, yada. I got
Johnny,
this
that's your
thing.
head.
I got this thing on my neck.
Johnny, that's your head, you silly goose.
Oh, no, no, it's another thing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I got this lump on my neck and I'd like it removed. And she said, yeah, that's something we could do. So the doctor comes in. It's maybe 30 seconds he's in. He says, oh, yeah, we'll have to schedule you with a surgeon to do it. So they schedule me with like a plastic surgeon, a facial maxillary surgeon. You know what I'm talking about with that?
Hmm.
And thankfully, I was really nervous making that call because I thought, oh my God, it's going to be another 7 months before I get a chance to see this guy. I'm not even going to be in Ohio by the time that he can get me in. Thankfully, it only took a month turnaround. The build up, I am not nervous at all. I've had my wisdom teeth removed, but I was put under. I've had, you know, full transparency. I've had a couple warts. and I've had them sprayed off. I don't know if anyone's had a wart before, but they take this canister of nitrogen and they spray the shit out of it. This one was
Mm.
on my knee. It was a weird spot. It was, kind of, I guess it was kind of the only one. I had maybe a couple others, but they take a nitrogen can and they spray the crap out of it. And it hurts, but not that bad. And so those are my only two experiences with surgery. The wisdom teeth surgery, I got really swollen, but I kind of knew that that was a side effect. I feel like that's the wisdom teeth. A lot of people do it. It's well documented. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into. This was the first surgical procedure that I'd ever had outside of those two things. I thought I knew it was going to be like I was not ready for what it actually was. That's not to
Mm.
say it was terrible, but it was way worse than I thought it was going to be.
Oh no.
The surgeon even confirmed it as I was in there. He's like, when people come in for something like this, I like to think of it as just coming in for a little dental appointment. That's all. And I was like, oh, then we're gonna chill. This is no big deal. I'm gonna do a-okay. And then he starts injecting the lidocaine in my neck, and I've only, I've okay. The only other time that I remember feeling this way was 2024, just after leaving my job when I had my 10 milligram edible adventure,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
I fainted. And
Right.
so I was lying on the exam table. He's putting the lidocaine into me, and I start freaking out, like panic. I'm sweating. I'm sweating so bad,
My
and
gosh.
I'm just freaking out, and I'm like about to faint. I'm
Oh my
convinced that I'm
gosh.
going to
That's
faint.
crazy.
And he wraps up and he said, "All right, buddy, you're doing great. Enough. That's it with the lidocaine. I'll come back and we'll check on you." And so and it takes 5 minutes or whatever
Hmm.
that they want to wait. The lidocaine was just a bizarre feeling. They inject it, and Zach, you've had some experience, I'm sure, right? You'd had your hair transplant. Did they inject you with lidocaine then?
I think so. I can't remember exactly what they did. They numbed the area for sure.
Okay.
I don't
And
remember if it was
so
lidocaine or not though.
I don't know about you, but he put it into my neck. I could initially feel the needle going into my neck, and that wasn't terrible.
Hmm.
The I don't know what made it so terrible, but I started feeling it in my ear. Like my ear went numb. I kind of maybe I didn't lose hearing, but I could hear,
Mm.
I could just hear
The,
the
the
like
blood run.
ringing,
Right.
yeah, the blood, the ringing in my ear. It was just freaking me out. And I'm glad the surgeon stepped out for a little bit because once he stepped out and I just laid there, I got a chance to close my eyes. I calmed down a little bit, but it was bizarre. I mean, the whole like right side of my head was just numb.
Hmm.
I mean, my jaw worked fine, my eyes worked fine, but the I guess the more rear part and my neck were numb, and it was just a bizarre feeling. Then he comes back in and he starts doing procedure. Another super weird feeling because you can hear everything that's going on,
Hmm.
especially right then and there, like it's right next to my ear. I can hear everything. I can hear him using the cauterizing gun. I can hear him like snipping away at whatever he's doing. And the other terrible part is you can feel it. You can't feel the pain, but
Right.
you can feel him tugging on your neck. You can
Hmm.
feel him doing all this stuff. And it's just like he was talking and he was very nice. The nurse was so nice. It was really they did their best, but I was still just like, this is bizarre. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit.
Hmm.
I leave the doctor that day with a massive bandage.
Yeah. I
It's
remember
like, what the hell is this?
Johnny sent us a picture and it was like his entire neck was disbanded.
Yeah, it looked like a gunshot wound. Like that's why I was kind of joking with people. I was like, yeah, I got shot in the neck because that's what it looked like. It was crazy.
Uh-huh.
And so it didn't hurt. And then around 4:30, I was like, oh, okay, I can start feeling it. Like the lidocaine's wearing off. I can feel
Hmm.
it. 5:30, I go to Kroger, I get some acetaminophen, but I'm still thinking to myself, oh, this is nothing. Like I barely feel it at all. By 6:30, it's an intense pain. Like
Really?
way more than I thought it would be. I can't
Whoa.
get comfortable. Like it's super uncomfortable because my neck's there and then you can't I could like I couldn't find a comfortable position for my neck. Do you know how
Mm.
sometimes when hurt yourself, you can kind of find a comfortable position where you're like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, I can sit with this. I can live. I can breathe. I could not find a comfortable. It was just a
Oh
terrible.
no.
And so I took a lot, or not a lot. I just took 3 pills of acetaminophen, which is one more than normal, and that helped. That made it go away. But I guess part of the reason I thought, or part of an explanation or a picture, for, if you will, of how quickly I thought I was going to get over this operation. I had an IM soccer game later that night. This took place on a Tuesday. I had a game later
Hmm.
that night. I thought 1,000% I'd be playing in that game. I thought I
Really?
was going to be playing no
Wow.
problem. And by the time the game rolled around, no, no shot.
Hmm.
Again, it could have been a lot worse, but it was just terrible. I hated this stupid big ass bandage on my neck. It was so annoying. It was so itchy. By the end of they want you to keep it on for 48 hours. By the end of the 48 hours, I basically had it already torn off because I just kept peeling back. Like they put the sticky tape on you over it, and I just
Hmm.
kept peeling it back just to reveal sections that I could just get a little itch in there.
Mm.
And then I finally take it off, and I don't actually look at the wound. There's still some steri paper strips over top of it. I leave those on for a little bit longer, and it's not until I want to say Friday night. So what would that be? 30, 72 hours later,
Hmm.
approximately, maybe like 80 hours later. I take those off, and then I'm looking at the wound, and I'm like, damn, this doesn't look good at all. Like this,
Yeah.
this looks terrible. I will say it looks a lot better now, but when I
Okay.
first took it off, I was like, my neck's gonna be totally fucked up. And so like
Can I see it?
when I, yeah, do you want me to send you a picture?
Can you? Thank you.
Yeah. And so so basically, again, long story short, 72 hours later, Friday night, I'm thinking to myself, look, if I knew all this was gonna happen, I would have just lived with this lump on my neck.
Hmm.
I would have
Hmm.
just stuck it out. But holy cow. So kind of on the whole, I don't think I would ever get a lump on my neck removed again. I think I would
Really?
mostly just live with the lump. Maybe on my arm, maybe on my leg, maybe on somewhere else. But God, what a process.
Oh, that's
And then
gnarly, man.
I don't know if you can see, but the whole entire surrounding area is super bruised as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I see
so
that.
that was a total pain in the neck because I could barely move my neck because it would just hurt to move my neck.
Hmm.
Oh my God, what an ordeal. Like again, it could have been worse. I could have had hip surgery. I could have had anything. Pick your poison. I could have had appendicitis. Um, but I think it was just the fact that my expectations were so low for this. I
Hmm.
was just thinking it would be a nothing burger of a procedure. And turns out when someone
Was this
cuts
something?
open your body, it's gonna be an ordeal.
Hmm.
So that's mainly what I wanted to get across was like, holy cow, that was way more extra than I ever wanted it to be. Starting from the injection of lidocaine to the
Hmm.
bandage to the initial reveal of the wound. It's been funny. And then,
Man.
so today I
Hmm.
just have a couple band-aids on it.
Oh, okay.
But I had been trying to kind of replicate their bandage a little bit, not as big. I took a much, much smaller piece of gauze
Hmm.
because, again, not that big of a cut. Like this bandage was pissing me off how big it was. So I
It
took a
was huge.
much smaller thing, covered it, and I mean, it's going to invite questions. Even if I had these two band-aids, I bet people would still ask me like, "Hey, what happened to your neck?" But
Hmm.
it invited a lot of questions, which was no big deal. I just was honest. I just said I just had a cyst removed, and when and everyone was pretty chill, moved on from there. But that was the other thing is it's
Hmm.
funny. I am not a disabled person, but for those 72 hours with that big ass bandage on my neck,
Hmm.
I think I got just a tiny little taste of the pie because everyone looked at it. No one looked at you first.
Hmm.
Everyone was looking at your neck, and you could just tell they were thinking, "What the hell is going on with the neck?"
Wow.
Some people were very nice and were just like, "Hey, what happened? Are you doing okay? Like, what's up with the neck?" Other people, you had to be like, "Look, elephant in the room. I
Hmm.
got a cyst removed. Like, just stop staring at it."
Right.
So it's like it's funny. It's funny.
Hmm.
I would have, I still don't want to say that I've got the full experience because that's something, those people have to live through every day of their life.
Hmm.
But holy cow, did I get a little taste of the medicine to be like, wow, all right. I will not stare. I will try to be as cool and, unassuming as possible
Hmm.
and just, but anyways.
Well, and if nothing else, you learned a good lesson.
Yeah, I did. I did learn a good lesson. I learned a
Not that you
couple
didn't,
of lessons.
not that
I
you didn't
mean,
know. Yeah.
I'm going to extend this to even any, like, my tiny ass little cyst removal procedure. What an ordeal for me.
Hmm.
I can't imagine again, like an appendicitis, someone getting their appendix removed. Holy
Hmm.
cow, that's got to be an ordeal. And much
Yeah.
longer than 3 days. Like, thank God it was only 3 days. But getting an appendix removed, I mean, that's got to take forever to heal. It's probably get a pain in the, like a bitch. Probably
Hmm.
hurts like a bitch. I mean, any surgical procedure from here on out, I will, salute to whoever has to go through it. I understand
Yeah.
why people don't want to get surgery done.
Mm.
That sucks like that. And it wasn't even that big of a deal. Again,
Right.
that's kind of the main theme of this is it wasn't that big of a deal, but that shit sucked still.
That is a great point. Like I obviously, it's surgery, no matter how you slice it, but there are levels of surgery, and it makes you think like for how like small microscopic, not
Yeah.
microscopic, but like how little the cyst actually was. People got to like do surgery, like you said, for their appendix, got to get like their arms amputated or something,
Yeah.
like
Tumors removed,
tumors removed.
however,
Yeah.
pick your poison.
Hmm.
And so do you have any moles? Like I've got one mole on the back of my left calf
I
that's
remember. I know that one. I know
you
the
know
one.
that one?
Hmm.
I used to be all the time like I want to get this off my body so bad. You know what? It can hang out for as long as it wants. I am no longer keen on getting that shirt moved.
Loki should have just gone to the doctor, like, "Hey doc, I got this thing on my knee. Can you get rid of that too while we're here?"
While I'm here, and you got the light
Hmm.
again out.
Right, right.
Just
No, I don't, you know, if
waste
you
of
remember, I
time.
had a mole that was like right here on my face. It was
No, I
the
do not remember.
ugliest mole. It had like
Really?
hairs growing out of it. It was so I got something removed for
Gotta be.
cosmetic reasons as well. Um, and I just wanted it
I'm gonna go
gone.
back
So
to like my 2013 pictures, see if I can.
no, it was in 2010 when I got it removed.
Even before that. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. So that makes
Um,
sense. That's yeah.
yeah, I did not want to go to middle school with that mole because I knew I was gonna get torched.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember like when you're saying like they numb it, but then you can feel everything. I remember like them numbing my face, which hurt a lot, and I remember feeling like they had a knife and they like cut the mole,
Yeah.
like they sliced it and then like removed it like both sides from it.
Right.
And I remember like this guy has a knife on my face right now. This is like, what if I sneeze? So no, it definitely is like anything near your face. It'll freak you out for sure. It doesn't like I'm
Yeah.
not shocked that you were cool, calm, and collected, and then like all of a sudden it's like whoa, 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 whoa. This got really real. Um,
Yeah. Just bizarre.
I'm
Bizarre.
glad you lived to tell a tale. I do have a question.
Thank you.
Have you shaved since?
Yes, I've shaved twice, so you can kind of get away with it because I put this big ass bandage, not big ass, again, a lot smaller, but still, it took up a lot of area on my neck. I
Hmm.
was able to get away with it because
Okay,
the longer hairs were just covered up by the tape. So I've got
sure.
kind of like
Okay.
a weird patchy situation going on, which I
Hmm.
kind of cleaned up today because I knew I was just going to do these band-aids.
Hmm.
But yes, I did try to shave, which was technically against the doctor's recommendation. He said no shaving until tomorrow, which it would be a week from the procedure. But
Ah, I see.
I was looking shaggy. But like looking back on it, I kind of wish I would have stayed the entire 1 week no shave just to see what I would have looked like. Because I don't think I've ever gone 1 week
Why don't you
sans shave.
just try it right now?
I got too much responsibility. Too many people
Oh,
depend on me to look pristine and well
bro,
manicured.
people look at me.
No
I don't
one's
look.
dependent on you to look well manicured,
Oh,
though.
come on, man. People care.
You
Um,
already have a girlfriend.
when is it supposed to be normal looking? Because the picture you sent me, it's no offense, it still looks pretty gross.
Yes. Do you want to see well, I'll send you another one with it's the most recent picture.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
again, viewers, commenters, let us know. Remind us in the comments if we don't post. We've got two things to post. We've got a poll and my two surgical pictures. Um,
Can you post that on YouTube? We get demonetized for
oh, demonetized as if we're monetized in the
that?
first place.
You know what? I do
Um,
see the hair situation you're talking about. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
yeah,
Man, it's still like like um bruised.
it is, and I can still feel the bruise.
Mm.
But what I'm very glad about is
Hmm.
so not the big, the big chunk, you can see the big chunk
Yep.
that looks
Hmm.
bad, but the other side of it actually looks a lot better. Do you know what I mean? Are you seeing what
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
saying when you compare the
I
two?
do. I do. Yep.
But this big chunk has me worried. Like, is that shit gonna heal up?
It'll
I
heal
guess I
up.
have to have faith because the other side healed up.
Hmm. It'll heal. Time heals all wounds.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So I agree completely. But my expectations after, like, I'm going to reset my expectations to be much lower or higher, or I don't know. But I'm thinking I'm giving myself July 1st. I
Hmm.
think when I look at it again on July 1st, I want it to be pretty okay looking.
Yeah.
I will say probably not done. And I'll have my last interjection here because I accidentally cut myself with glass on my finger, and that took forever, years to
Wow.
finally look normal again. And it's still, you can still kind of see the spot that I cut. It still just looks a little awkward.
Mm.
So I mean, the surgeon did say it will scar. So there will be a scar here. So it will technically live with me the rest of my life. But I'm hoping that it's not going to look, like that for the rest of my life. Because
No.
again, if it looks like that for the rest of my life, what the hell did I get? Did I get this thing removed?
No. It'll fade. Like the scar when I first got my like you
Yeah.
can't even tell where it was. But when I
Right.
first got
Yeah.
the mole
No.
removed, it was like very obvious.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember because it was like 16 years ago, 15 years ago
Right. Yeah.
when I got it removed. I don't remember when it like faded, but it'll fade.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree. So I don't think I think fade in July 1st to have it fade is probably too extreme, but July 1st I'd at least like it to look not great. I think I'm gonna probably take the band. I think I might let it go sans bandage maybe next Tuesday. I think I'll try to keep it bandaged up for the first 2 weeks because it seems to be making pretty good progress.
Hmm.
Um, but but I still expect it to be a little, you know, obvious for. I guess maybe that's the definition is by July 1st, not so obvious in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just very obvious. So, anyways, that last 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe, that was all me.
No, I
Sorry,
like it.
Zach.
I'm glad we went through because I feel bad I didn't ask you about it. I should have. To be honest, I
Oh,
forgot about it with the
no,
Passover.
not at all. I forgot about it until I said, in the podcast, oh, I've got one more thing to say.
Uh-huh.
So, sheesh,
I enjoyed it.
load off my chest.
I'm glad that okay, everything went well, and it'll you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, yeah. I've
It'll fade.
got a soccer game tomorrow night, and I full well plan on playing in that one. I'll tell you that
Oh
much.
wow, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see you play. I'm excited that next week. If we don't have a guest,
Thank
I'm
you, sir.
excited to hear how you play post
Yeah, this is our last game
Siscon.
of the season.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you
Hmm.
got you for that one.
Hmm.
All right.
Alrighty. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for joining. I think that's gonna do it. We went over a little bit, but I think everyone loves a little extra Zach and Johnny time,
Mhm.
so I don't think there'll be any worries with that. And yeah, like Zach said, we might have a guest on next week. We probably won't know until
The
next
day.
week, so see you all then.